The story that you tell yourself about yourself is probably the singular most important thing that you need to start manipulating in your life. And it's the singular thing that will remove insecurities from your life and start you on the upward spiral of positivity and success. The story that you tell yourself about yourself is of vital importance. Now, this is the story that's going on in your mind at all times of the day as you tell yourself things about yourself. This is the thing that will make up your self-esteem if it's positive, but will crush it down and give you insecurities if the story that you tell yourself about yourself is negative. So you've got to be constantly making yourself aware of the story that you're telling yourself about yourself and manipulating that to become something positive. Now, if you have a specific insecurity, as soon as you start saying to yourself about that insecurity and how negative it is and how unhappy that you are and how much of a big insecurity and how much of a problem this is to your life, as soon as you get that thought, you need to use that as a trigger to replace that negative thought with a positive thought. You just replace the thought with a positive thought. Now, this is a cognitive behavioral therapy technique that they use to remove stuff like anxiety and to help people with depression. So think of the insecurity that you have, if you have an insecurity, and then as soon as that bad negative thought comes into your mind, I want you to come up with a positive thought that you will replace the negative thought with. And it's as simple as that. Making your mind aware of the negative thought as it happens, then replacing it. And you can literally pick out a thought and replace it with another one, a more positive one, by repeating this in your mind. Because there are different pathways in your brain, different ways for electro signals in your brain to fire, and when they fire in a certain way, it's digging that channel even deeper, making it easier for that thought to trigger again. So if you've thought this same thought, like I'm really bad at, I don't know, I'm a slow learner, and you have that thought, and the more you think that thought, the more that thought digs a channel into your brain, which makes it even easier to fire. This is why habits are born, because you have channels in your brain that are so deep you don't even have to think about them, and you automatically run through the habit. You need to be replacing these negative thoughts, these negative insecurities, with this positive one. But it goes further than that. Because the story that you tell yourself about the world around you is what will determine whether you're successful and whether you're actually happy in the long run. Because at all points in time, your brain is picking up information, it's picking up pieces of data. Right now, at this moment, you're listening, you're watching, and you're hearing. No, that's listening. You're listening and you're just listening and watching. But what that will do is your brain is constantly picking up that data, that information. Everywhere you go, everything you do, your brain's picking up information. It's then up to you to determine how you filter that information before you store it as a memory. You have all of these things going around you. For example, the bus might be late. It's then up to you to change your perception of the external event to make you feel better about the end. So for example, if in the scenario that the bus is late, there may be two men waiting for the bus. One man perceives that the bus is late, therefore he's wasting his time and he's going to have a bad day because of that. Because his perception of the event is negative, his feelings will then be negative. But the other man, who also is waiting for the bus, when he sees that the bus is late, he says, great, now I've got time to meditate. Because these two men's perception of the event that happened is different from each other's, the feelings they get at the end is different. And you've got to manipulate that for the things that you see and the things that you believe in the world. There's this one phrase that I hear people saying, life is like a shit sandwich and every day you take another bite. As soon as you have that thought in your mind and you say those words out loud, game over. You're now in the negative spiral loop and you would struggle to get out. As soon as a phrase is uttered out of your mouth and as soon as you start thinking thoughts as negative as that, it's game over. The loop is spiraling down fast and you've got to do everything to claw yourself out of that scenario. Because it's one thing having these thoughts in your brain that dictate your reality. It's another thing actually saying them. Because as soon as you say things, it's like posting up a new post on Facebook, and that is how your brain perceives it. As soon as you perceive that the world is like a shit sandwich, you are then thinking everything is negative. And that's like you putting that belief up on your Facebook status, and every single belief after you have that will be reinforced with that initial belief that you've put up. If you believe that the world is a harsh, negative place, and this is what Einstein used to talk about, if you believe that the world is a harsh, negative place, then you will have a harsh, negative reality, because your perception will become reality. Whereas instead, if you view the world as a positive place, a place with lots of potential, you will end up fulfilling that potential because you get what you focus on. If you think that everything negative and everything bad could happen, you will get that reality. You will find yourself in the shoes that you were scared of. So, on the other hand, you've got to be constantly refining your perceptions to make them positive and view things and view reality as a positive place where your potential is limited and there's nothing stopping you. Your life can be whatever you want. When you have that positive belief pictured, every single event that happens to you will then be through that positive frame, and you will end up happy and you will end up fulfilled. So the main takeaway I want you to take from this video is to recognize that you get what you focus on. So start manipulating your brain and the thoughts that go on within your brain to make them positive, and that is how you'll get the most out of life. My name's Andrew Kirby. If you're new around here, then make sure you subscribe. But for everyone else, like the video and watch one of these videos on my end screen. I know you'll enjoy this one. See you in that video.